How's it going, everybody? Lucas Widman alongside a very special guest at the TMZ studios today, Kyle Larson. Kyle, how are we doing?
I'm good, good. Glad to be back here in California.
Absolutely. And this is a very exciting time for NASCAR. Things are underway, but how are you feeling so far this season?
Yeah, it's been a good year for us. We're currently second in points, have won 3 races now, so we've been one of the top teams all year. I've had a rough little stretch here the last few weeks, but team's still good. So, yeah, looking forward to the rest of the year and hopefully getting some more wins along the way.
So kind of walk me through that because I know you have had a rough few weeks and things haven't necessarily gone exactly as planned. How do you regroup and like face the rest of the
Yeah.
season with a clean slate?
Yeah, yeah. For me, honestly, it's so like I do a lot of racing outside of NASCAR as well, like on dirt track stuff. So with that racing a lot, I feel like that kind of helps me kind of get over the rough, stretches because I'm just, like if you have a rough couple weeks, like the weeks feel really long, leading into the next race. For me, I'll race on a Sunday and then get to race again on a Tuesday or Wednesday. So like my mind is always moving past things quickly, good results and bad results. But yeah, so like I'll race in South Dakota Wednesday and Thursday before going to the NASCAR race this weekend. So that sort of stuff really helps me and helps me stay fresh.
Maybe I need to start trying that because one thing goes wrong for me and I think about it for 2 months.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's good for me.
But, a lot of people were actually pointing out how, you came back, you were down 37 laps, and you come in to get that fastest lap, and people were just talking about how you were zooming and how,
Yeah.
yes, you wanna get that point for fastest lap, but then also at the same time, you're giving fans a show. So kinda just walk us through that moment and, how you were feeling behind the car.
Yeah, so yeah, we unfortunately got caught up in a crash. So it rained. We were in Mexico City. It rained, and the track was slick. Kyle Busch made a mistake, went in, wiped us out. So we had a lot of damage. Was able to repair that, and then yeah. So this year is new that they're giving out that fastest lap point. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna finish last. So I might as well try and gain a point. So we went out there and was able to get the fastest lap. So that was good because every point can end up mattering, at the end of the year. So, yeah, it was important to try and get that. It was fun too. Like I was so bored, sitting in the they call it the DVP area where we work on the car after damage. I was sitting in there for like an hour probably just bored. So, was happy to get back out on the track and get to push and really just have fun, but get the fastest lap was cool too.
Yeah, I would have to imagine it's like a different mindset when you know you're going out there just to give it your all to get that fastest lap as compared to, trying to win the race.
Yeah, yeah, no, it is. It's a unique kind of mindset. I think that's one of those things where you have to like shift your goals and your expectations as things happen. So, like before the race, you're trying to like think about what it's going to take to execute to win the race, and then when you get caught up in a crash early, you got to like you know alter those expectations, obviously, and the only thing left for us to do is try and get the fastest lap. So yeah, it was fun to try and push for that, and then ultimately get it.
And recently, merch sales came out, and you are at the top of the list. And I know growing up, you were just such a big fan of racing. What is that like to see, looking out in the crowd, everyone's wearing Kyle Larson gear, knowing just, you know, it wasn't too long ago you were on the other side being a huge fan.
Yeah, no, it's yes, that's it's been really cool, to hear the stats that we're leading the, merchandise sales in the NASCAR Cup Series. Um, for one, because Chase Elliott's kind of dominated all of that for so long now, and to feel like we're battling for most popular guy is pretty cool. But for me, it's really neat. Like when we went to Mexico this weekend, like I've obviously never raced in Mexico, didn't have any idea like what my fan base might be like there, but going around on our little pace lap after driver intros, like looking in the stands, there was a lot of people wearing my stuff, and that was pretty neat, So, um, it's been I would say a lot of work to build your fan base over the last handful of years, but then for me, I think I relate well to the fans because I race all different types of things, and you can find me at a racetrack kind of any day of the week. So, I think fans appreciate that.
And with that popularity, came the Prime athlete partnership. How much cred did you get with your kids? You know,
Oh,
being
yeah.
tight with Logan Paul
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. No, my kids, I think my kids are more pumped about it than anybody. So, yeah, my son, he's, as all kids are, like they're all into collecting the bottles. And so, it's been funny because yes, he's got like every single bottle laid out. I don't know, there's probably, gosh, so we let him showcase them all in our like game room at the house. And there's probably, I don't know, 40 to 50 bottles or
Jeez.
something, and, like, his buddies come over, and they're a little bit jealous, of the ones that he's got because 'cause they're super rare, I guess, so, um, yeah, it's pretty cool. We got to meet Logan, actually, went to the, WrestleMania in Vegas here, on Easter Sunday, I think it was, and, yeah, that was the first time we got to meet him. He was super cool, like, very, very down to earth, like, normal, very nice to the kids and all that, so, yeah, that was fun, and yeah, it's cool being a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see someone who makes silly videos on YouTube just turn into a
Oh,
global superstar and an athlete now
yeah,
with
yeah,
WWE. So that I'm sure your kids are just loving that you're cool with him.
yeah.
Um, Indy 500 and Coca-Cola 600 didn't go as you had hoped this year, but I would just love to talk to you about the preparation that goes into that and just trying to, go after something like that. And I, I know you also said that you might not be going for it in the future, but have you taken more time to consider?
Well, touching on that, I would say doing as far as like the double goes, running both races in the same day. I don't think I would try to do that again. I would love to, but just logistically, it doesn't. It's just too tough. Like the window of time is so tight. So, for those of the people that don't know what the double is, you're running the Indy 500 and the Coke 600, two different series in two different states in the same day. Um, the Indy 500 I think started at like 12:30, 1 o'clock or so, and then the Coke 600 starts at, like, call it 6 PM. So, the race, Indy 500, if it runs with, no delays and all that, it's probably a 2 hour and 45, 3-hour race, and then you have to helicopter to the Indy airport, fly to the Charlotte, Concord Airport, which is, hour and 15, 20, 25 minutes probably, helicopter into the infield, and then just basically jump straight in the car. So, for me, last year, we had rain, so I wasn't able to do the 600, and then this year it rained, and to start the race we were delayed, and then ultimately I crashed. But even without the crash, I don't think that I'd have been able to finish, the Indy 500 to get to the 600 in time. So just because of that, like there's so much money that goes into it. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I feel like that's a lot of risk, a lot of money involved and a lot of risk to just have like a 30 to 45-minute rain delay, kill your chances. So that's what's going to keep me from probably doing the double. But someday down the road, I think I would like to do the Indy 500 again, just because I messed up this year bad and kind of want another go at it. But it was still a super cool experience. Like it's the biggest race in the world, Indy 500. So just being a part of the atmosphere, being a part of the race is just it's unbelievable and something that every young kid I think dreams of running.
I went to the Indy 500 last year and I
Oh
was
yeah.
just blown away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's sick.
it was nuts. And like, I'm just now getting into racing to be completely honest. And
Yeah.
the year before I went to the NASCAR street race in Chicago.
Yeah.
And so like I am like,
Did you like it?
yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was so much fun.
Yeah,
I thought
Chicago's like that
rain
race.
again,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I know. Poor Chicago. It's
yeah.
rained both years we've been there. But it's to me like it's such a cool event just cuz we don't do anything like that. We don't do street racing in NASCAR. Like Formula 1 does
Mhm.
some, IndyCar does some. That's our only street race in NASCAR, so like it's just got a cool vibe to it, I think.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Indy 500 and the rain delay, a story that we put up, I don't know if you read it, but Connor Daly was talking about how he went to the bathroom in his car. And I know there's like this big debate on whether drivers do this or not. So I would love to get your stance on
Yeah.
whether this has ever happened to you or whether you'd completely be okay with it.
There's definitely lots of times where I, like, have to go. But dude, you'd be surprised, like, when you're buckled in, it's, like, hard to get your brain to, like, mentally focus enough to, like, let it go. So I've not been able to let it go, but, we were sitting that same rain delay that he was talking about where he relieve some pressure. Um, I had to go as well, but I was like, "Dude, this is gonna be a long race here." So, yeah, when I crashed, the first thing I did was go to the bathroom. But, yeah, so it's tough. But like I said, it's tough to even get your mind like, if he was rolling around under caution, I don't know if he'd been able to pee, but, like, sitting there at a stop, because I think he did before we ever took off, maybe you could do it then, but rolling is tough.
I love how he gave a special shout out to the mechanics after that.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were working overtime. Another thing that I noticed is on your Instagram page, no matter what you post, it could be, race related or personal, whatever, the Max Verstappen fans will not let go
I know.
of the comment that you made, posting gifs of him, celebrating or whatever. And I completely understand what your comment was, that all around. And I think people are, you know, not focusing on that part of it. Revisiting that comment that you made, like, do you, stand by it? Do you wish you worded it differently? And just kind of talk about the reaction that still to this day Verstappen fans are
Yeah,
on
yeah.
you.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, maybe you would have tried to reword it because, yeah, I think the way that those fans see it is that I said I'm a better Formula One driver than him, which
Right.
is obviously not the case.
Yeah.
Like, I would never even get the chance to race it, and probably if I did, I wouldn't even be close to him. Where I said like all around, more came from like I race lots of different types of cars, and
Yeah.
I've been able to run up front and win in most all of them. So like the versatility side of it is where like I was coming from. Where I have no doubt in my mind that he's super amazing race car driver. And it kind of came around. It was like around the Olympics time.
Mhm.
Like I think the question kind of stemmed from like, would I want to see racing in the Olympics? And I said no, because it just would be hard. Like the Olympics to me is like athlete driven, like it's not, you're not reliant on equipment and all that. And so I didn't think that racing should be in the Olympics, but then I also said like I don't need racing to be in the Olympics to like measure myself to or feel like I need to measure myself to others because I'm confident enough that I can compete in a lot of different types of cars that I'm really good. So,
Right.
but yeah, it got kind of taken out of context, and I have to live with it now. I think fans think that I said that I'm the greatest race car driver in the world, which was not true. But um, whatever, it's fine. It's like I said, it's something that I have to live with. But no, it's cool. I guess when now people try to compare you or not compare you to him.
Taken out of context on the internet? No way.
Yeah,
No.
never, never.
It does like in my mind, I love to play with the idea of, drivers from like say Formula One, NASCAR, IndyCar, like all like coming together and doing like a super competition.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever thought in your head like how cool that would be?
It
Or
would
am I
be
just
dude, it would be awesome. Like, it would be so cool if you could ever get, myself and Max or whoever the, greatest race car drivers of their discipline together to try and, somehow figure out who may be the best. I think it would make for great TV. I just don't know how you would do it. I don't know what it would look like. It would take a ton of money, because race cars are not cheap. And then I just don't know. Like I don't. There's racing is so broad. Like there's so many different disciplines within racing that I just don't know what that would look like. How like what cars would we be in? What tracks would we go to? Um, when the field's only 4 or 5 drivers, like that wouldn't be that exciting either. So you need like a big field of cars and drivers. So I don't know. It'd be challenging and difficult to like truly ever show what is the greatest driver, but if you could somehow figure that out and figure that format out, it would be awesome, and I think fans would really get into it.
I'll get working on it.
Yeah.
Last thing, Kyle, we're in LA. Um, how is it for you to be sitting in our traffic, knowing, for the majority of your life you're going fast
Yeah.
and you cannot do that
Well, after leaving Mexico City, I feel like I'm flying on these roads. The traffic in
here?
Mexico City is unreal. So LA's got nothing on that. But growing up in Northern California, I dreaded coming down to LA just because of the traffic. But that's a good question. That's a question we get a lot, But to me, like when you're going the flow of traffic on the interstate, call it, I mean, LA might be slower, but 65 miles an hour, and you're all kind of going within 65 to 75. miles an hour. Some might go ripping by you at 80, 85. Like to me, that sensation sometimes feels faster than the racetrack.
Hmm.
Because on the racetrack, you're all going down, racing at 100 and 90 to 195. Like it's not like there's not like cars zipping past you, you're zipping by somebody. So that's where the sensation comes from to me. So it's not hard at all to get back into a street car and go drive home after the race. If anything, sometimes it feels faster and scarier and more dangerous because you don't know who you're on the road with. Um, so yeah, that's kind of it's odd, but yeah, the sensation is not it's not hard to go back and forth.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Rather interesting.
yeah, yeah,
Well, Kyle, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time. Best of luck for the rest of the season. You're welcome back anytime.
yeah. Thanks for having me here.